All right, Coach, just give me your assessment of Jaylen's progression since he stepped on campus, kind of what you've seen from him and just the upside that he brings to the table.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the biggest thing that we were most excited about in recruiting Jaylen was his upside, his ceiling. From athletic ability, I mean, he came in the summer. We've got a program in the summer where we track and we take points and all those things, and he ended up actually winning that program. So from an explosive standpoint, whether it's the strength and condition aspect of the speed and the transition, the change of direction, and then the weight room part of it, he was one of the best ones we had, which was super impressive. Obviously, to come in as a freshman and compete in that environment and do that. And then the most exciting thing I'm about is the kid loves football. You think that in the recruiting process, but by the time I got here and we started recruiting Jaylen, we had him for about a month. So you try to gather all the information and do your homework, and that's how I felt who he was, but that's who he is. And that's the most exciting thing to me from an athletic standpoint. He's got everything that you need, and he's proven that here, but from a mental standpoint, the kid loves ball, so he's been a big contributor for us on special teams this year, and he'll come into the spring competing for a job.
When you first noticed Jaylen in that situation, because y'all don't recruit South Carolina very much with regards to coming and getting in, you guys kind of came late into the process. What was it that you saw on film late in that process from a kid from South Carolina when you looked at him and said, hey, we need to go to Conway and take a look at this cat?
I think the biggest thing, obviously, we had a specific need at the position. We missed on a couple guys in December. I just got here in December. So we went and evaluated every linebacker in the country that was available. And I think the thing that stood out to me the most to him on film was how explosive he was on contact. So he could read and diagnose in the box, but that kid played numbers of numbers, and when he arrived pissed off, but he came out of his hips. And you could really see how well he ran on film. And then obviously went up there and watched him play hoops, which he ain't an unbelievable basketball player, but he's a good basketball player for a football player. And so just saw his athletic ability, and then the biggest thing to me was who the kid is, his character, how he loves football. And I just think I knew he was going to be a great fit for Alabama, and he is. He's going to be a special player here.
He's a kid that went under the radar. Just how do you think that happened with what we've seen from him?
Well, I think a lot of times, I think academically he kind of dug himself in a hole early. And so I think sometimes, when guys go in there and get a grade report, maybe the end of his sophomore year, the beginning of his junior year, and they go back and they put the transcript in, they look back like, all right, he's not going to make it. And they don't go and follow up. And he's another kid from his junior to senior year drastically improved. And I think that's a tough part of our profession now. The recruiting process is earlier and earlier, so you can get to where you can evaluate a sophomore. He's starting as a sophomore. You evaluate him, you deny him. He's not good enough to play for it. The kid's a sophomore. He's 16 years old. And then you don't get back and reevaluate him after his junior year or after his senior year, and the kid's gotten better, just like our kids do. Their freshman year or junior year, they're different players. I think sometimes in the recruiting process, that gets missed. And so you look back and you got everything, you got all your charts, so you go through and here's the grade we got on the kid. Well, yeah, it's when he was 16 years old. And I think that happened to Jaylen with a lot. So I think academically was one. He had some work to do, which he did an unbelievable job his senior year and got it done. But B, I think he was kind of a late bloomer and developed a little late. And I think some people had already evaluated him and didn't give him a high enough grade.
Were you yourself kind of surprised by that? Surprised that he didn't have as many offers?
No, just because of the recruiting process now. He had a lot of good opportunities at mid-majors and things like that are good football programs. But at this level, I think the recruiting process starts so much earlier. And now with the early signing period, so many people get full in December where there's just not a lot of options late. Yeah.
What's the future look like for Jaylen in your minds about the possibility of him one day maybe being started here at Alabama?
No, I think it's a great opportunity. I think athletically what we just talked about, he's got everything that you want. So the big thing in this defense to be the signal caller at the Mike position is understanding the entire defense. And Jaylen's getting comfortable right now with what Jaylen's doing, and now this spring will be big for Jaylen to get comfortable with all 11 people are doing. So we can communicate and get everybody on the same page. He's going to have some young guys around him when he's in and be able to tell those guys what to do. So he's going to have a great opportunity in the spring to come in and compete for the job. Because bottom line, athletically he can do it. He loves football. He's smart. He comes in for extra film. So I'll be very surprised if he doesn't have a significant role.
Thanks, Coach.
Another young guy.